Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I'm Cipher, and this is the Devil's Advocate Debate Club. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be attacking a childhood favorite, Mario Jumpman Mario. The worst video game character of all time. An over-marketed, over-hyped Gary Stu who needs to be retired, probably with a shotgun. Now, to start this off, let's go back to the beginning. Mario at his best, back in the arcade days. We have, of course, the original Jumpman variant, who starred in the Donkey Kong game alongside the title character and villain, Donkey Kong. Now, this was, of course, a monkey who had gone berserk and captured, we now know, a princess. And, of course, Mario had to go put him back in his cage. But as far as we can tell, this is just Mario's pet monkey. I should say Jumpman. This is before he was going by Mario officially, but it is canon that it's the same character in the Nintendo universe. So Mario starts out his career as, from what we can tell, an animal abuser. The monkey probably wants to get out of the cage and steal Mario's girlfriend because, well, from what we've seen, he hasn't been cared for very well, and Mario hits him. Just not how you care for your creatures. The game itself was one of Mario's better moments in his history. There wasn't much else like it out, and it didn't survive on marketing alone. It was also a Donkey Kong game. So let's jump ahead to the next installment, Super Mario Adventure, which was the arcade edition of the ever-loved Super Mario Brothers that people came to know a little bit better. This was a game which had several competitors out at the same time that were done along similar lines and arguably better, but which was marketed incredibly well, and which was a decent game for its time. Again, as much as I love it and may still go back to play it again, it's definitely overhyped when you compare it to other lesser-known gems of the same era. But to move on to Mario himself, we once again see Mario being just horrible, and in this case, even more sociopathic than just hurting creatures, but that is the pattern, isn't it? It starts with animal abuse, and then you move on to the serial killer mentality. Now, of course, we see him stomping on turtles and Goombas, which do seem to have some level of sentience from what we've seen, like there's no tomorrow. And not soldiers, but from what we can see, very frequently everyday citizens just basically doing their thing. Some of them are arguably in the conscripted command of King Bowser, but we'll get to that. The blocks, you know, those ones that you find all those useful hidden items and coins in, that Mario is constantly smashing his skull into to break open, are actually, if you read the canon lore from the first couple of games, I believe it was in the second game, the frozen and basically Medusa'd Dinzans, excuse me, I can't say that word right now. Anyway, citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom, they're people. They're living people who may someday, given all the magic and everything else around, be saved from this fate, especially if someone were to approach Bowser on the negotiating table rather than with lava and an axe. Now, I don't know how easy it is to negotiate with Bowser, but from what we saw in the series, not that I suggest you watch it, it might be possible. And so from the canon depictions of his personality, nobody has tried, despite the fact that that would be the best known and potentially only way to save the bricked over citizens of the Mushroom Kingdom, but Mario instead walks around in both the games, the show, and basically every canon, smashing them to pieces with his head, killing them. And from what we've seen, Mario knows what he's doing. In the show, I believe it's outright stated, and in the games it's suggested more than once, that Mario has the knowledge of what's been done to these people. So every time you see Mario smash a block as Mario, you are a serial killer. And I mean, these are the citizens that you're trying to save. These are the people on his side, not even just the Goombas and Koopas and everything else that he's just crushing. All to save Princess Peach. Now, let's talk about Princess Peach. I'll point you towards MatPat's amazing theory about why she shouldn't be in charge of the Mushroom Kingdom, or not necessarily why she shouldn't be in charge, but more, or why, spoiler alert for his video, the parasitic mushrooms she's putting on people's heads are probably an authoritarian way to control the kingdom, but that's all theory. Just one I really enjoy. Sorry about that. Anyway, though, setting that aside and just going purely by game canon, Peach is a dubious ruler at best. I don't think that we've seen her do a single thing that could be considered an act of leadership. We know she can bake a cake. I don't think we've seen any evidence as to the quality of said cake. And that's about it. She's very young and inexperienced and seems to have spent most of her time being held captive. Now, this makes Bowser clearly a bad person for holding a princess captive, but as far as leading or ruling a country goes, or making sure that the citizens have their basic needs met, he really might be the better option. Now, we haven't really seen much in the way of signs of leadership from Bowser either, but he's at least capable of commanding loyalty from an army, something which Peach has never been able to establish very much of. I mean, there's a few of the Toads, but mostly it's just Mario, and this could be said because the citizens have been turned to stone or whatever, but there's never been signs in the lore that I've been able to find of any army. No, the only person who's inspired any loyalty of that sort is, in fact, Bowser from his castle, which he and his subjects theoretically built together. I mean, he probably had them build it for him, but he seems, from what we have seen, to be a very hands-on ruler. Just look at how he deals with Mario. I mean, yeah, he waits in the castle for Mario to come to him, but he's certainly prepared to get his hands dirty when the time comes. And he's capable, at the very least, when comparing him to the other regime, he's capable of capturing Princess Peach consistently. So whatever agents he has working for him are clearly at least somewhat more established than Peach's. He uses magic and collects ancient artifacts and clearly has some connection with the land and its history, which seems to be completely lacking from the members of the Mushroom Kingdom, Peach and Mario and their crew. The only ones we ever see them using are ones they get from Bowser and generally his children. And that's just moving into the first couple of games. Anything beyond that has just been not necessarily copies of other games, but just things that we'd seen done first and often better. I mean, Mario went 3D after several other 3D platformers had come out, and things like Super Mario Sunshine and Galaxy came out after the style of gaming was well established by Spyro and many others. Ever since the first couple of games, Mario has been anything but revolutionary, basically just taking whatever the market trend is and putting out a polished turd. Not quite as good as some of the other games around, but hey, you slap the name brand on it and market it well enough, and people will buy your turd. Now, I'm not saying that all Mario games are bad. I enjoy quite a few of them, but you can usually find something better without a name brand attached to it, often cheaper if you're buying your games used or even new, that's the same game, but superior, just without the nostalgia, and without a story that honestly we've all heard 1,000 times at this point. Mario at least has some progression. Zelda is even worse when it comes to that aspect. So, into Super Mario Sunshine and beyond, we see no real progress in the series, nothing really innovative coming from Mario. He just takes from other innovations that have happened and, well, slaps the brand name on it. Even going into sports games with the Mario and versus Sonic Olympics and Mario Tennis and just everything you can imagine. It's truly gotten to be ridiculous. They basically just keep marketing him more and more because, well, people keep buying it because of the name. Even when a lot of times the games, especially like some of the sports ones, are subpar to other games of their genre. And don't get me wrong, Mario Kart Racing, especially back on the 64, has been pretty awesome. There are definitely some gems hidden among the turds as well, but dear God, Nintendo produces a lot of them. High fiber diet, I guess. So, in conclusion, Mario is an overhyped series that has been pushed on the populace through expansive marketing, basically hiding superior games behind it because people buy the brand that they know and trust, and Nintendo likes to put their mascot out on the wind. He is also a sociopathic, non-visionary anti-hero who seems to be a detriment to basically everyone and everything around him, with the exception of Peach, who he's clearly completely pussy-whipped for, and we have no indicators that she's any better than Mario, and quite a few indicators that she might actually be worse. Bowser could very well, who by the way is a family man whom we know cares deeply for his children, despite occasionally putting them in danger. From what we've seen in the lore, he is a very caring father who does his best to raise his children. He seems to care for his, soldiers and the citizens of his country. So, when you look for a hero in life, sometimes it's easy to get caught up in the miasma, in the mask, in the smiles and the marketing, and to miss the details and the truth. And the next time you play a Mario game, or you go to play a Mario game, maybe just pick up Spyro instead. I know, Spyro's not a replacement for everything Mario's done, but you can find a replacement, and Mario is really not your hero. But hey, if you disagree, which I'm sure many of you do, please leave a comment below, or even better, do a video of your own defending the Jumpman, which is in fact his middle name, Mario Jumpman Mario. And I do intend to do lots of political and, social commentary videos on this channel, but it was never meant to be all of what it was about, and it was definitely time to lighten the mood. I'm happy I did this one, even if it wasn't scripted, wasn't well researched, and was kind of silly. But tell me what you guys think below. Should I stick to politics or expand to, just about anything I might want to talk about? Anyway, my laundry should be about done, which is too bad because this path looks a little bit more interesting than the one that we've been on. If I do another video in the area, I think I'll probably start it right about here. Go back to my old style of starting videos where the last had ended, perhaps for 2 or 3 shoots. We'll see. Anyway, make sure, since I know you humans have to be reminded to like and subscribe, but more importantly, leave a comment below. Disagree with me. Fight me. Anyway, I'm your host, Cipher. As always, this is the Devil's Advocate Debate Club. I hoped you enjoyed, and thanks for watching.